Hi there. Thanks for joining me again on part 2 of my journey to the Everest Base Camp. In part 1, days 1 to 4, we flew to Lukla Airport, the most dangerous airport in the world, experienced the charm of Pakding village and Namche Bazaar, reached the highest placed hotel in the world, and got the first glimpse of Amadablam and the Everest mountain range. Then went as high as 3870 meters to the village of Tengboche. And now on day 5. From Tengboche, we headed up to the village of Dingboche at an elevation of 4360 meters and distance of 10.8 kilometers. The night before was cold and we woke up to an extremely chilly morning. At this point, we had to wear several layers. We started our hike with a gradual descent into the forest along the Imjakala River. Imjakala River originates from the waters melting from the Khumbu Glacier by the foot of Mount Everest, which then flows down to the Lukla River. Soon we crossed the Imja River suspension bridge and were welcomed by sweeping views of Amadablam and the surrounding mountain range. Amadablam is featured in the Nepalese rupee bill and also referred to as the Matterhorn of the Himalayas. Amadablam means mother's necklace, with a long ridge looking like the arms of a mother protecting her child, and its hanging glacier as the Dablam, a necklace commonly worn by Sherpa women. After around 4 kilometers, we reached a stupa. I have learned that a stupa is an important symbol of Buddhism. They are built in high mountain passes to protect travelers, purify negativity, and increase positive energy. Then we reached the village of Tengboche, where we had lunch while enjoying views of Amadablam from a different angle. From Tengboche, the trail gradually went uphill and we continued hiking with magnificent angle of Amadablam Mountain on the northeast and the Everest mountain range far ahead. After 8 kilometers, we reached a fork which connects to Pheriche village to the left, the route we're taking on our descent. We continued to the right for the remaining 2 kilometers towards Dingboche. After crossing another river, we arrived at the village of Dingboche. We stayed at Stupa Inn for 2 nights. At this point, heated blankets, hot showers, and power outlets inside the room are no longer available. Day 6. It's Acclimatization day in Dingboche with day hike to Nakarjun Hill. We reached 4360 meters of elevation, so it's important to acclimatize again so our body could adapt to higher elevation. It was a cold morning and water pipes were frozen, but weather was spectacular and a perfect day to hike. The hike to Nakarjun Hill starts off with a trail that passes by the stupa overlooking the village of Dingboche. Then it goes uphill until we reached a fork with many stones and prayer flags. The trail to the left goes to Lobuche, the trail we're taking the following day. We continued to the right towards Nakarjun Hill. It goes uphill with 248 meters gain in less than 2 kilometers. So we took frequent breaks, savoring the amazing views in all directions. Amadablam and Island Peak to the east, Lhotse, Pomeroy, and the rest of the Everest mountain range to the north. Spectacular views of Pheriche Valley, Choyu, Tengboche, and Cholatse peaks to the west. As we went higher up, we began to fix our pace to the next prayer flags that were placed in different points of the trail. A prayer flag is another sacred Buddhist symbol which is meant to spread prayers of peace and goodwill. It has 5 colors which represent an element: blue for sky, white for air, red for fire, green for water, and yellow for earth. It is believed that harmony is achieved through balance of these elements. Soon, it's time to go down, which is so much easier and made it to Stupa Inn for lunch and a relaxing afternoon. Day 7. After spending 2 nights in Dingboche, it's time to head up to Lobuche with 4940 meters elevation and distance of 11 kilometers. The hike starts off with a walk along the valley with beautiful meadows and yak pastures with amazing views of Tengboche and Cholatse peaks. After around 2 hours, we crossed the Lukla waterfall bridge and started ascending on some steep boulder field, then arrived at the tiny village of Lukla where we had lunch. After lunch, we started our hike with a steep climb to Lukla Pass until we reached the highest point at 4,800 meters elevation, where the Everest Memorial Site lies. This place is the saddest point in the trail, with over 100 memorials of climbers and Sherpas whose lives were lost in the mountains. A place of contemplation to pay tribute and honor to the bravery of these fallen climbers, and a place to serve as a reminder of the risks involved in conquering the world's highest mountain. We continued hiking alongside the Combo Glacier until we reached the moraine, then a steep climb. Soon we reached the village of Lobuche and Mother Earth House, where we stayed for the night. We were welcomed with amazing views of the golden rays of sunset shining on Mount Napse and the Everest Range. And now on day 8, the big day. From Lobuche, we headed up to Gorakshep, then hiked to the Everest Base Camp, the highlight of this trek, reaching 5,364 meters elevation, then back to Gorakshep for the night for a total distance of 11 kilometers. We all woke up very excited. It's the day we were waiting for, to reach the base camp of the tallest mountain in the world. The hike starts on rocky terrain with several ups and downs. My oxygen level didn't really go down that much at 89% the night before, but it was hard to breathe. So we took it really slow and drank plenty of water. As we approached Gorakshep, the trail got rougher, and as we increased elevation, it was even harder to breathe. So we took many breaks, admiring the peaks around us as we got better views of the Khumbu Glacier and the Everest mountain range. With Pomerae and Noptse dominating the skies, and some glimpse of Lhotse, the fourth highest mountain, and Everest, the highest mountain in the world. After 4.5 kilometers, we arrived at the village of Gorakshep, the highest village in this trek at 5170 meters elevation. We went straight to Everest Inn for lunch and a short break. After lunch, it was time to head out to Everest Base Camp, the highlight of this trek. The trail to base camp is on a rough terrain with slow inclines, which is actually on the edge of the Khumbu Glacier itself. After ascending for 2.5 kilometers, we reached the top of Khumbu Glacier, where we caught beautiful views of Khumbu Icefall and Mount Everest. The trail then slightly descends until we walked alongside the Khumbu Glacier, and soon we arrived at the famous Mount Everest Base Camp Rock, which marks the final stop for trekkers. It was busy with a big group of trekkers lining up to get their photos on the famous rock, so I wandered around and left the prayer flag I brought and whispered a prayer of deep appreciation for allowing me to experience the marvels of this place. Finally, I got my turn to climb up the famous rock of Everest Base Camp. As I raised my hand to celebrate my accomplishment, I felt humbled being just a tiny speck beneath the tallest mountains on earth. The vastness of Everest range and its magnificence drew me back and filled my heart with deep gratitude for the amazing journey to get me to this place, for the people who made this trek possible, and the memories I will treasure forever. After enjoying my base camp moment, we hiked back to Gorakshep, where we celebrated a friend's 50th birthday and spent our night. Day 9. After relishing the Everest Base Camp, it's time to go down. From Gorakshep, we descended to the village of Pheriche with 4280 meters elevation and distance of 12 kilometers. The route going down to Pheriche is partly different from our ascent, so we still had a change in scenery. It's mostly a steep descent with 1273 meters elevation loss. We traced the same way down to the village of Lobuche, then passed by Lukla Pass and crossed the bridge, until we reached the fork that connects to Dingboche, marked by a large boulder. We continued to the right and followed the trail towards the village of Pheriche. The rest of the trail is downhill with beautiful views of the valley and yak pastures until we arrived at the village of Pheriche and our tea house for the night, Everest Trekkers. We arrived early, so I had the opportunity to interact with other hikers while keeping warm in the dining room. One conversation that really stood out was with a family doing the trek together for their dad's wish in celebration of his 70th birthday, which was truly inspiring. That night was also the second night of the Har Festival, which celebrates relationships of humans, animals, and nature with traditional dances and music. Having witnessed this celebration during our trek was a unique and enriching experience. Day 10. From Pheriche, we hiked to Phortse, one of the oldest villages in the Combo region, at 3810 meters elevation and distance of 13 kilometers. We started our hike with a nice walk along the valley with beautiful views of Tamsurco ahead of us and Lobuche Peak behind us. We then crossed the Combo River until we went on a steep ascent to Upper Tengboche. Upper Tengboche is a less traveled village, and I really liked the tranquility here. It has a monastery and traditional stone houses, and offers stunning views of Amadablam, Tamsurco, and Kangtega, and a nice panorama of Lower Tengboche. The next stretch is what was described by our guide as Nepali Flat. I don't really understand what it meant until we went on a series of steep ascent and descent on a winding trail. And there you go, Nepali Flat means little bit up, little bit down. The sweeping views of the Himalayan range from Tamsurco to Kangtega and Amadablam, and even views of Lhotse and Everest far ahead made this day satisfying. Finally, we arrived at the village of Phortse and went straight to Little Sherpa Lodge Phortse, where we stayed for the night. Day 11. From Phortse, we hiked down to the village of Monjo at 2835 meters elevation and distance of 15 kilometers. After breakfast, we started our hike with a nice walk along the village until we reached a prayer wheel, another sacred Buddhist symbol which is believed to attract good karma when spun in a clockwise direction. We then descended steeply and crossed the river of Phortse Tenga. After a few kilometers, the trail went on a steep incline until we reached Mongla at 3973 meters elevation, and we were welcomed with stunning views of Amadablam. The trail then went downhill until we reached the village of Namche Bazaar, which was buzzing with tourists and locals alike. The trail rejoined the main Everest Base Camp Trail, so we traced the same route we took on day 2 until we reached the village of Monjo and our tea house for the night, Hotel Summit. That night, we joined a celebration of another hiker on her 70th birthday, which was really inspiring. It was also the 4th day of the Har Festival celebration. And as we danced with the kids and other hikers, there was something with the music and dancing that brought us together despite our language barrier and differences in culture. The sense of family that I felt was the highlight of that day. Day 12, our last hiking day. From Monjo, we retraced the same route we took on day 1 back to Lukla and flew back to Kathmandu the following day. I can't believe we're on the final stretch of our hike, but there's something we have yet to do. To try the pastries of the famous Everest Bakery, so we dropped by and had a taste of it in one of their branches in Pakding, and they didn't disappoint. We zoomed down the rest of the trail and soon we are back at Pasanglamo Gate in Lukla, then arrived at the nest where we started 11 days ago. I felt it wasn't yet the finish line until we're done with a flight from Lukla, the most dangerous airport in the world. We took the early flight the next day and landed safely in Kathmandu. As I looked back at my 12 days of hiking the Everest Base Camp, all I could say is, indeed, it is a trek of a lifetime.